Number 2, Camelia Bezzotta. Number 4, Sarah Searcher. And number 5, Magdalena Hoffa. The coach, Fabio Frigo. The assistant coach, Eleonora Finotta. And the team physio, Fabio Massimo Moscatelli. And your 2 10-second timers, Hamdi Wetwet and Bass Bands. And it's now time for the national anthem. So please rise, if you're able, for our first national anthem, Portugal. And now, the national anthem of Italy. Thank you. Let's play.
Well, welcome along. Absolute pleasure to be here out in Portugal for the GoalBall European Championships. We've just had an absolute cracking game between Portugal and Bulgaria. And up next, we have got Portugal against Italy. Italy making their debut in a national tournament, in a national format in general. Well, I'm Elliot Stockdale. I'm delighted to be joined by Amanda Dennis. And, well, welcome along. You had a bit of a tricky journey getting here. but you have eventually gotten here. So I presume you're nicely excited and ready for the festival of goalball that we have coming up.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like a goalball fanatic, you know, so any goalball game is always exciting for me to watch, especially the women's games. You know, I'm a huge women's goalball fan, whether it's, you know, the Paralympics, World Championships, European A's, European B's, whatever it is, if there's goalball, I'm always tuning in. So it's really cool to be here as a commentator and to be like, you know, bringing these games live to you guys.
Well, I've not really given you enough credit in that introduction. You're not just a goalball fan or a goalball fanatic. You're a goalball superstar. If we're gonna be quite frank and honest, double medalist, I believe, bronze and silver at the Paralympics.
Could get gold, you know.
Could get gold. I presume that is the aim.
That's the goal.
That is the goal.
That's the goal. Whenever that's gonna be, that's the goal. You know, it's an uphill battle.
Of course. Well. We are here, as I've said, for Portugal against Italy. I reckon we've got about 5 minutes to go, maybe until kick-off. Not too sure. However, we of course have got team news, and we were speaking beforehand at this Italy team, and there's only 4 players overall. Maybe some issues in terms of what impact they can have off the bench, but this is a brand new team coming into this, and we're really excited to see how they get along. But of course, they're up against the host nation, Portugal. The last time they played in a tournament was back in 2016.
Yeah.
So it's been a while for them. Italy making their debuts. It's going to be a tricky game to call.
I would say it should be a pretty close game, in my opinion. I haven't seen Italy play before, and this is actually my first time seeing Portugal play as well. And I think that it could be interesting, you know, a close game. But then again, you never know how the home crowd advantage can affect your gameplay as a country, you know. When you have the home crowd behind you, it can push you forward a lot, and that can mean a lot for you. So, I mean, let's see what happens with this game.
Well, Portugal, you were just informing me, they've had a very weird couple of weeks, getting a brand new coaching staff in, ready for this tournament after a tournament previously in Spain. I presume that's going to help them going forward.
Yeah, I would actually assume so. So Marcia is usually the national team coach for Portugal. They just came back from a tournament in Spain a couple weeks ago where they had a completely different coaching staff. And they actually had one of their main players missing from their starting lineup. They finished 4th in that tournament in Spain against, actually Spain got 3rd. And France actually won the tournament. Okay. Finland got 2nd. So it could be very interesting because a lot of these teams have matched up against each other. So now Portugal has Leonor Silva back, and that can make a huge impact on their playing. She's a decent center, so she can make a big impacts in their, you know, overall defense as a team.
Yeah, like you say there, Leonor Silva, the captain, as well as that Marlene Brando, both of them Club World Champions with Sporting.
Yep.
They've got very good pedigree coming into this. What do you believe Portugal's realistic hopes are at these championships?
You know, I think that they want to give a good fight, you know, being the home crowd or the home team. This is, you know, their first tournament since 2016. So I'm not really sure what their hopes are in terms of if they want to win the tournament or not. But I think going into every single tournament, your hope should always be to win. You know, we always say that in the U.S. when we go to tournaments. We're like, let's have fun. But like the main goal is to win. And especially as the home team, you know, you want to show these people up. These people haven't seen you. These teams haven't played against you a lot. And you want to make a statement. And with your home crowd behind you, you know, you have all the advantages in the world. So they have a lot to prove.
Well, the Italian women's team, like we said, have just formed this year. The men's team actually debuted in the Paralympics back in 1984. But this women's team, this is their debut. Very brave of them to come into this very big tournament with only 4 players. But the way I'm sort of hearing things from the Italian side of things is they're doing this more or less as a bit of an advertisement for goalball to get the, you know, their names out there, to get this sport out there in Italy a little bit more. And let's hope that they can, on this international stage, deliver it as best as they can. They've got no pressure on them whatsoever. But I think that, like you say, you should always be coming into a tournament aiming to win. And let's hope that they can try and deliver at least against Portugal, as we're just getting the team news out. We have got Eduarda Azevedo, Jessica Castro, Leticia Gomez, Leonor Silva, as we've just spoken about, Maria Silva, as well, the mother of Leonor Silva, which I find absolutely fascinating. What an absolute dynamic. Could you imagine playing goalball with your mum?
To be honest, no. I can imagine being coached by my mom because I have had that, but I couldn't imagine playing with her.
Do you think she'd be any good?
You know, I don't want to speak to that. So, you know, my mom, she has had 2 hip surgeries, so I would just say no, I don't think so at this moment. But you know, you never know what she can give. You know, she used to throw at us in practices on Saturdays, and it was decent. It was just, you know, I just don't know how we would work along, you know, together as a team. There's a lot of maybe clashing happening.
Well, in the Italian teams, and like we said, they've only got 4 players. They've got Anna Maria Hoffer, Camilla Pazzotta, Ciara Saiker, and then Magdalena Hoffer, 22 years old, and based on our research, she seems to quite like travelling. But she'll be stuck to the court during this game, hoping to fire some goals into the back of the net.
I'd like to remind everyone, keep quiet while the ball is in play, and switch off
Starting
to
first
mobile
with the ball.
phone. Thank you. Portugal will start on the ball. Quiet, please, center.
Portugal will be starting, going to their centre player. Shooting, and unfortunately just putting that wide. Saying there, Leonor playing wide, yeah.
Usually they have Maria starting over on the left wing for Portugal, so it's interesting to see Leonor starting.
Shot coming in there from Italy, straight down into the centre. Played out towards the right-hand side for Azvedo. Throw there blocked well. And a play that goes.
That was a great
So out on the left is Camilla Pazzotta on this near side. Out the centre it goes. Blocked well. Outstretched, and out again it goes to Captain Leonor Silva. Less of a diagonal shot there. Coming in from that far side. Backwards and forwards shooting at the moment. Timeout has been called there.
I'm actually not sure why that timeout was called. Okay, we're restarting.
Is with Azvedo. Going out wide.
Oh, okay, so we have the other wing coming over for Italy.
Quiet, please. Play.
Let's see what she has.
Bouncy effort, but just about stopped and kept in as well. Nicely done that by Azvedo. Shoot that down towards the centre. Well held as well there by the Italian number 4.
Nice spin by number 4. That was a great throw into that right gap.
Again, and then shot back immediately by Portugal, and again blocked. It's a blocking game thus far for both sides. Another shot coming in now. Again outstretched there in the centre.
Just a pass out.
Out.
That was just fumbled out. It looks like they had a little bit of a communication error on Portugal's side, and they just managed to pass the ball out without conceding a 10-second penalty.
Sneaking across there towards the far side with the shot coming in. Outstretched, block with the knees. Next shot comes in from the far side. Out it goes once more.
A lot of balls out so far this game. You know, each team is trying to get their footing straight as they enter this game, try to get their accuracy right.
In terms of Italy's start, 2 minutes in, still 0-0. I think they'll be relatively pleased. Shot coming in there, and well smothered as well. Straight back in and blocked again there with the feet.
That ball had some action on it in the defense. Could be a shot that they want to try to throw again to be able to score a goal.
It's a nice effort, blocks as well. Can it be kept out just about? Up onto her feet. Sota then shooting herself straight down the middle once more.
One interesting thing in goalball is a lot of the time you don't really want to be throwing around the center unless you're trying to cross them, short crosses. to try to hit the extremities of the center, but hitting straight into the center is usually not a scoreable shot at all. It's usually pretty closed.
Which is where we go into those, some of the shots we were discussing earlier actually about, I think the British term for it is looking between in the pocket.
Yeah.
But you and your Americanisms slightly differ with that.
Into the gaps.
Into the gap, that's the one.
A lot of throws into the center so far this game, though. I think that we'll see a lot of good defensive play by both teams.
Quite opening 3 minutes of the game, but that's a nice block, just tipping her out wide.
That was interesting. Actually, the wing over for Italy got up. She anticipated the ball going somewhere else, and it just crossed the center, and she made that block.
Back into formation now. Moment for Italy. Portugal ball. Silver out on that left, putting it down towards the centre again. Same with those centralised shots.
Let's see if we can look for a different shot here. It's out. Maybe if I were Italy, I would look into going more into the left side gap for them. That seems to be more where the center is struggling with her feet. So, you know, and if I were Portugal, I would be looking at more going into the gaps of Italy to try to test their center out, because right now she hasn't really had to move so much.
Blocked well with the shins. Got to her feet. Ball does go out.
We have our first turnover of the game. To Italy, their offense play. Their center is coming over, taking the ball, spinning. Just throwing out.
Castro at the moment in the centre for Portugal, doing a good job. Here with Silva again going down the centre, blocked well with the legs there of Sierra Saika.
What do you think it's going to take to break through for this first goal for either team?
Probably a little bit of luck, to be honest. Looking just to get a fortuitous effort towards goal. Nearly happening there actually with Leona Silva. Just about tipped away by that centre again for Italy. Out on that right side. This time again, just going out of play. You can understand what they're trying to do. They understand they need to try and force it out wide a little bit more. But I think that's the issue. They're trying to force those shots from happening instead of it allowing to be coming across naturally.
Exactly. Oh, that was also a good try by Leonor.
Going down towards the corner that time. But again, it's a little bit relatively bleak so far. That's a nice effort towards goal. Just unfortunately creeping wide of the post. I reckon Azvedo may have had that covered. Azvedo with the ball in hands going towards goal, and it is in. Just about squeezing in. Taking a couple of deflections, but Portugal do take the lead with 5 minutes gone on the clock. And just like I was saying, it was always going to be a fortunate effort to break the deadlock here. And it has come via Eduardo Azvedo.
So here's the main thing in GoalBall. The one thing that you don't want to do is to give up a goal right after you scored a goal. You know, like there's some phrases that some teams use that's really good psychology after you score a goal to get everybody refocused. But a lot of the time, especially, you know, when you're coming into GoalBall, you think about, oh my gosh, I just scored a goal, and you're so excited, and then the ball's coming back, and you unfortunately get scored on. So let's see how Portugal handles this goal that they scored. Can Italy score back pretty quickly, or will they be able to focus and hold on to the lead?
It's about keeping that concentration for Portugal now. They do not want to concede an instant reply here from the Italians. Ball in the centre. Going out towards the right though. There's number 4 shooting and deflected, nearly bouncing up and in. Well defended there in the end. I believe there by Leonor Silva coming over. Goal scorer now is Azvedo going with a shot again down that centre. Go with an instant shot back, and time again, just going wide of this near side post.
It'd be a great opportunity to quick return now that one of the wings just came over. Okay, it was blocked out, but that would be a really great opportunity to quick return the other wing. As a player, know that a player is out of their position.
I think at the moment, Italy will be quite pleased with their defensive work, but I think they need to try and work on them shooting a little bit more. And a brilliant save there, tipping it away by Italy's number 2, Camilla Pizzotta. Just tipping it wide. That diagonal effort. And with a shot again bubbling open, just going out of play once more. With Italy having only one substitute, their best chances in this game of changing it up will be via tactical decisions. So what would you be doing? Let's put you in the Italian coach's shoes.
I'd be trying to have the center come over for the ball a little bit more. I think that she has the best shot of scoring. She has come the closest to scoring on Portugal so far, and she needs to try to hit further out to the extremities of the center. So, you know, in the U.S. language, it would be obviously into the gaps, but you would try to be hitting the 3 and the 7 a little bit more to try to hit the hands and the feet of the center. And you would try to force it away from Portugal's main thrower. So in this case, it's Leonor. Okay.
So for then, just about blocked by Italian on that right-hand side. Gone straight back at Leonor there, just about, with her legs sweeping around to kick that out of play. Again, going with that right-handed effort.
For a new team, Italy's showing a lot of potential here. They have some off-wing help, so the wings are coming over to the other side when Portugal is throwing at, you know, the main thrower or the main defender, and I think that that's important. So help saves can be made as well, and you don't see that a lot with newer teams. So there's a lot of potential being shown here with Italy.
Yeah, they're mightily impressed in this first half so far. Very low scoring at 1-0, but I think the coach, Fabio Frigo, will be relatively happy with his side's performance. Got Anna Maria Inhofer on the bench to be able to come on, but that might not need it, and they do indeed. Italy get the equaliser. They don't need to look to the bench when Camilla Pizzotta is pulling those out of the bag. And Italy have their first ever international goal in these European Championships.
That was a great goal. And like I said, the center, there was a high ball. So Leonor Silva just, you know, she just conceded a high ball. That means that she has to block the entire court by herself. So Italy now has a chance to bring the lead over to their side and bring momentum to their side.
Gigantic opportunity here for Italy. This penalty. Ciara Saika, she's wrong-footed. Leonor Silva, and it's in. 2-1 to Italy against the host nation in their first ever international game.
The game changed really quick. You saw the momentum go to Italy, and you know, Portugal made a mistake, and they were able to capitalize on that mistake, and that's really important in goalball. So the momentum is all on Italy's side. So let's see how they can take that further. Can they get more goals? Or can Portugal come back?
Nicely smothered there. Italy wanting to keep hold of this lead after their misery compiler a few moments ago. Portugal with all the work to do. They do have options to bring on.
I think I see a little bit of pep in their step over on the other side now.
Feeling confident against some very high caliber players. Silver on the ball at the minute, being the Club World Championship with Sporting. Another bouncing ball towards goal, just about smothered. Back out again to the Portuguese goal scorer Eduardo Azevedo, putting it down towards the centre, blocked with the shins. Instantly back with a shot there, and once again blocked by the centre. Those two may as well just pass each other the ball at this point. Just keep going down the middle. That time trying for a bit of something different. As Vado going out wide, but too far wide, and out it goes, out of play.
This is a moment where Italy should be trying to be pushing for another goal. So, you know, whatever worked for them to score that first goal, bringing the center over to throw a little bit more. They need to start pushing instead of, getting a little bit calm and saying, okay, we're up, we have a lead, and try to get more goals. That's going to be the more important part at this moment, because the more they can get up, the safer they are throughout this game.
Of course. I mean, goals do win you games. It doesn't really matter what sport you're in. That is definitely the case here in GoalBall, and if Italy can try and extend their lead to maybe 3-4 goals to 1, they may have a good opportunity to get the opening win here on opening night. We've got plenty more GoalBall action coming across as the weeks go on, with 3, potentially 4 promotion spots available up into Group A.
All right, so we had a shoelace officials time and an eye shade check from the center from Portugal. So this is a moment where the referee is going to check the patches and eye shades of the players to make sure that they have no visibility, and once they're done, the game can continue.
Of course, it's so important in this sport. Not everyone is completely blind. There's different variants of visual impairment, and we like this to be a level playing field. That's why there are eye patches as well as those eye shades.
The interesting thing in GoalBall is, you say it's a sport for blind athletes, but blindness is a spectrum. So you have athletes who can see 10%, and you have some athletes who can see nothing. And it's that variability between, that 10% and that nothing. And that's why athletes are wearing those patches and eye shades, so that the playing field is really actually level.
Underway. Silva going for that shot towards the far post of Italy, going out wide once more. Maybe a bit of frustration creeping in now for Portugal as they still find themselves 2 goals to 1 down. Smothered once again by that centre back out towards Silva. She seems the goal threat at the moment. Bringing that towards and just about sneaking in. Yes, it is. Level up at 2-2. Silva sneaking on in under the Italian number 5, Magdalena Hoffer, to make it a 2-2.
There's a nice equalizer, so let's see if they can keep their focus and not concede another goal. Who will be the first one to break between these two teams?
Silva there, the equalising goal scorer, smothering that shot from Italy's centre. She'll go again to try and get her second, and she will indeed get her second to make it 3-2. And just like you were saying about who can hold their nerve the longest, it is Portugal that get 2 goals themselves this time to flip the game on its head. Italy with all the work to do now. 3-2 down. Spirits in the sails of Portugal. Another timeout called there.
Referees just trying to quiet the court down so that all of the players can hear the ball coming. Right, resetting.
Ball does come down, just about saved again. Really well held actually as well by Pezzota. He fires it immediately back and sneaks it in to make it 3-all. We've had a flurry of goals here, and Pezzota gets her second of the game, sneaking that in. And, well, that is in the pocket.
All right, let's see what our goal scorer has in mind.
And getting it in, 4-3, that's what she had in mind. Sucking it in again down to that far post. And Italy's number 5 out on that wing just couldn't stop it.
This is a really great opportunity for the Italian coach to take a timeout. When you have quick goals in concession like that, you need to take the timeout so that you can, rally your team together and really get them back focused on what the goal of the game is and what you need from them. Especially if, at least with our team, I've always had the experience when we've had goals scored against us really quickly, that timeout really helps bring you back into the moment and can really help bring you back into exactly what you need to be doing to be able to win a game. And it's hard getting goals scored on you, like, in concession like that. Like, it's, you know, it's something where you have to mentally refocus to be able to bring your game back. And luckily they're down by 1 right now, so let's see what we can do.
Sure, Italy do not go any further down.
Looks like Italy changed their wings positions on their side. All right, so Portugal is making a substitution.
Coming on, it is the number 3. That's Marlene Brandão, also of Sporting, coming on for one of the goal scorers, Eduardo Azevedo. It's a very interesting time to make a change, isn't it? You've just gone 4-3 in front, your opposition's just done a timeout. Now you decide to make a change with 2.5 minutes to go until the half-time interval. So we saw in the men's first game that the coach made an early change. That almost backfired, and she is doing a very similar one at a very similar time.
Yeah, I think that she's seeing that a few of those goals have scored in the same spot, and potentially this person, Marlene, that is coming in, can block the gap a little bit better than the person who just came out. And so it may be a tactical substitution to help stabilize the defense for Portugal.
She has the ball in her hands, and this would be some impact if she can come on and score. She doesn't, smothered coming out towards the near side by the number 4 for Italy, Ciara Saika. The ball in her hand, and then she'll sweep it towards Brando's side, and that is exactly why she's come on, smothering that well, getting that defensive block in. Brando again going for the shot down the centre.
10 seconds. So, you know, for the viewers watching, the players have 10 seconds from the time the ball hits them to the time the ball crosses that half-court line. And it's pretty quick, so if a ball bounces off of you and you're not quick about passing it back or going back to the goal with it, that 10 seconds can go by like a light turning on.
Italy have a chance to equalise now. And Brandão nearly getting to it, but tucking it down the centre there to make it 4-all. Italy find themselves back level again, thanks to that opportunity from the penalty.
I don't think that that's what Portugal wanted, but let's see if they can get their goal back.
There's Brandão going towards that corner, well blocked, sweeping there with the, like you say, they have swapped wings, haven't they? Coming up as Zota now on that far side, and sneaking it in to make it 5-4 to Italy.
Like you said, maybe this is a very similar situation to what happened in the men's game. It could be a decision that could cost them the game, but I think that they'll be able to bring this back.
We've had a flurry of goals out in this first half. We won't be seeing another one there with that shot from Rona Silva. Camilla Pizzota maybe is one to watch at this tournament for the newcomers Italy. Find themselves in front. And I would argue deservedly so as well, actually. They've really battled hard. They'll be hoping to keep on to the lead with about 1.5 minutes to go until that half-time whistle. Shot there that time from Magdalena Hoffer. Down the left of centre it goes there, but then immediately fired back by Italy.
That was a great shot. A really good idea to quick shot.
Very, very quick on her feet is Ciara Saika.
That ball was almost passed into the goal by the Portuguese center, and that was a great call by Marcia to call a timeout to save that shot. Another goal conceded was not what Portugal was looking to do.
Well, the Portuguese coach did in fact actually, Marcia Ferreira, she won Best European Coach in 2019, so she's clearly got the knowledge and the expertise to try and turn this game around for Portugal, with that timeout coming with about 1 minute to go until half time. And at the last interval that we saw a flurry of goals straight after. Well, Portugal will be hoping that they can do that this time.
I don't think Portugal will be throwing this ball. I think that they're going to throw this ball out due to how long it took to pass that ball back and it almost going into the goal. I think they're going to have to either pass it out.
Indeed they do. Look at that. You know your stuff, don't you?
Yeah. GoalBall expert over here.
Back it goes to Italy. They find themselves a nice opportunity here with 60 seconds to go. Down the centre again, smothered by Castro. Played out to that substitute. Marlon Brando trying to sneak it in, and it's taking a tag team effort there from two of the Italian defenders there. And again, straight down the centre towards Castro, who played out wide to the Shakira at the minute, Leona Silva. Nice shot across the field there. We're not seeing many of those so far in this first half.
That was exactly what I was talking about
Sneak
earlier.
in. Yes, it will. Has that snuck in? Yes, it has. 6-4. And exactly what you were saying a moment ago, Portugal do not want to go 2 goals down. They have somehow found themselves 2 goals down with a very sneaky effort there from Magdalena Hoffer. And as that deflected in, and there we go. Straight back into it for Portugal. Marlene Brando just getting that squeezed in off the leg of Ciara Saika to make it 6-5 to Italy. It's anyone's guess what the score is going to be at half time. Nearly sneaking that in again. Potentially just tipped away with the fingertips there by Brando. This goal is ever so important in this game. The timing of it is as well. And again, that's almost a trio effort there to try and stop that from going in. Silva just blocking that with her legs. Back out, sweeping that with her right hand. Will it sneak in? No, it won't. Just about blocked on that far side by Pizzota.
All right, that's half time.
It's the half-time collection, and Portugal find themselves, I would say, a shock at 6-5 down to the newcomers, Italy, coming into this tournament. Portugal's home tournament, they find themselves 6-5 down. We've seen some really nice finishes, and I would probably say the star of the match so far in that opening 12 minutes probably would be Camilla Pizzota of Italy. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that she's had some really great shots this game, you know. There's a lot of things that she's done throughout the game that I think has made her stand out amongst them. So, you know, for Portugal it would be Leonor Silva, and
Yeah.
for Italy, you know, their center's great. Their wings have showed a lot of potential, and
There's a lot of hope for these dark horses potentially in this tournament, but of course it's not full time yet. It's an entire half still to go, and based on that, just first off we've just seen, well, anything can really happen. It's a very big second half coming up for the home nation of Portugal.
yeah, it looks like Portugal might be making some changes at halftime as well.
Yeah.
We'll have to see as time progresses when they do the eye shades, but it could be a really interesting change. You know, Leonor also plays center, so it could be interesting for Marcia to put her in center to take more of an offense and a defense role. You know, maybe put Maria in with her, so her mother. That's also
using that chemistry, that connection.
Exactly. It could be a really great combination between the two of them. Let's see what they have for the second half, but it looks like they're going to put back in their starting lineup from the first half.
Yeah, Eduardo Azevedo coming in for Brando, which I don't know if you'll agree, but I think that's a bit of a surprise, actually. I'm a little bit surprised that they've gone with that. You know, you mentioned at the start of the game that Leonor Silva, she can play centre. You've just said it again there. They've kept her out wide, and they've brought back on Azevedo where, you know, goals were being leaked. Again, I suppose same can be said for when Brando was on the field, but remains to be seen. Right. We have to trust the head coach here of Portugal. So we're just getting a few more checks on those eye shades and eye patches. No changes, I do believe, for Italy. No real surprises there. No changes have been made.
I'm not really sure, you know, what Marcia's line of thinking is with this. Maybe perhaps she's thinking that, you know, when they had their starting lineup in, that the defense stability was a little bit stronger for Portugal. And so maybe she's thinking that starting this lineup in the second half is the safest bet to have a stable defense and to also have a lineup that's, you know, ready to go. A lot of the time in GoalBall, you're sitting there and, you know, you have some people who are really nervous to start games and really nervous to start halves. And so sometimes it's better to go with your safest bet in players.
It is a marathon, not a sprint, to coin that ever so popular term in sport.
Italy's team is quite young, I think. I'm not looking at their birthdays, but looking at them on the court, they look like they're quite young.
Yeah, the three that are starting are all below 25 years of age, and the one they have on the bench, Anna Maria Innerhofer, is what you call the experienced member of the side. But I won't be dropping any ages. We'll be respectful.
Don't worry, I'm old now too in GoalBall, so.
Wow, 28?
Yeah.
Is that old in GoalBall?
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, I'll introduce you tomorrow then as the veteran.
Okay.
So Italy to get us underway from that centre. Striking it, nearly creeping in there actually, but once again Castro just smothering across, and it goes to that substitute that has returned to the field. Eduardo Azevedo. She puts that down towards the centre once more and smothered again by Ciara Saika.
It's interesting, Italy decided to keep their wings switched in the second half, so perhaps they think that's the best defense and offense lineup for them to be able to score and save goals.
I would say it's definitely made an impact since number 2, Camilla Bazzotto, went out wide as that snuck in. I must admit, I am not too sure on that one. Our camera angle is just slightly cut off. Based on the celebrations, I will presume it is still 6-5 to the Italians. Again, they're trying to sneak it in and smothering it again. There's Eduardo Azevedo.
That throw just had a little bit of extra bounce and topspin on it, and I think that's why it almost scored. And I think that they should look at trying that again. Eduardo kind of lays flat on the ground, and with players like that, you need to add a little bit more bounce onto the throws, and you can get goals a little bit easier.
Silva there, really well tipped away actually by Ciara Saika. She has covered that centre ever so well. On the left and right as well. There it goes, once again, Portuguese ball. Silva going down towards that centre and sneaking through the legs, and it has snuck in via the legs and via another deflection to make it 6-all. And Leona Silva gets her 4th goal of this game to level things up.
Let's see how important this equalizer was. Can Italy bounce back, or will Portugal be able to focus on this next throw? All right, we found our answer out. That next ball was thrown out.
Straight back to Portugal it goes. Can they take the lead immediately after equalising? Leona Silva, yes she can. It snuck in to the bottom right-hand corner. And immediately after equalising, Portugal, with their next shot, have turned the game completely on its head.
Sometimes one of the hardest things to do in GoalBall is after you concede a goal to be able to forget about it and move on to the next play. And especially with new teams like Italy, it can be very hard to learn that.
You sort of have to learn and adapt that as you know, the more games you play and the more experience you get.
All right. So we have an equipment check on Portugal right now.
I believe just sorting some tape out, which seems to have been rectified rather quickly. So the Italians will get back underway. 10 minutes to go. 7-6 the score. Portugal leading against Italy. They're seeing that shot saved and blocked, and 10-second timer was going down, which is presume why that quick shot came out there from Jessica Castro. Knew she didn't have time to get back, just fired the ball away. Towards there, and Silva again, smothering across on that left. It's allowed to be continuing now. Silva had a lot of pace on that shot, that did. An instant reply there from the centre for Italy. End-to-end stuff at the moment. Timeout has been called for Portugal. That's an interesting time to do it. The lead at 7-6. What do you reckon the thinking is behind that?
Well, personally, I think the timeout was actually called because they had two people chasing after the ball at the same time.
Okay.
So in that case, you know, maybe the center was lost, or you know, the wing didn't have enough time to be able to get that shot off, and Marcia was a little bit concerned about that, and so she called the timeout just to be safe, to get everybody kind of situated, and then to make a decision on what she wanted to do with the ball. Looks like the ball will stay with Eduarda.
It's just out of shot at the moment on your screens. But she is on this near side, and the ball is dropped out of play.
That is exactly why she called the timeout then. She was concerned about the 10-second penalty when they were up 7-6 here. They didn't want to concede a penalty and then equalize the game for Italy.
Very clever thinking there. It's late equaliser here, nicely smothered. Castro playing it back out towards that winger there. Vado stepping up, going for a centralised shot, and again blocked that time with the kneecaps. Oh, let's see Arla Saika. It's a bit of a bobbly shot there, nearly squeezing through the legs actually, nearly catching the Portuguese team unaware there. Silva striking it, nicely saved once more. And Italy going for these really quick responses, aren't they? Trying to catch the Portuguese defence off guard.
I think that the quick shots are a really great idea, but they need to be placed differently to be able to score. So she's thrown all of her quick shots to that one spot, and I think it would be really great if she changed the placement of her shot. I think that she has a really good opportunity to score.
I mean, going continuously down this near side for our viewers on the live stream, whereas, and it's in. Out of nowhere that came from, and a bit of confusion at the back for Italy. Miscommunication, and Portugal take that 2-goal advantage now, 8-6. And that was not ideal for the Italians from a defensive point of view at all. Let's try and get an instant response, and they won't do.
Just kind of snuck through there, and you know, their wings stood up. So there was no chance for her to be able to block the ball. I think she anticipated it going somewhere else.
And deflected again there, and in by that number 5, Leona Silva. A losing count of how many goals she scored. Now I believe we're at 6 for her, 9 for Portugal. And a bit of daylight here for the favourites coming in to this game against our tournament newbies. Timeout called there, and don't have to be a goalball expert to understand why they've done that. Italy going from level all the way down to 9-6. 3 goals in it now, and that is a bit of an uphill battle to get back into it with 8.5 minutes to go.
I think they need to regroup, and I think that they need to also look at what made them, you know, equalize and also lead in the first half. And I believe it was the placement of their balls, and they've kind of moved away from that. And their center has stopped going back to the net and actually throwing balls to the other side. It's great that she's quick shotting, but I think that she has a lot more value if she sets up a shot against Portugal.
We're back underway now, and we have seen a bit of a tactical positional change there.
Interesting.
Saika going out to wide, and the number 2, Camilla Pizzota, now finding herself in the centre. She's played in every position so far in this game. What is the reasoning behind that change? Because Saika's covered off the centre very well thus far. Being played over towards that right-hand side. Shot, and it's just about stopped, is it? Yes, it is. Double team effort there from Castro and Silva. Already fired back and smothered there by now our winger, Siala Saika, the number 4. With a 90-degree shot. And played back out now for Portugal in possession. At 6, the score remains 7.5 minutes to go in this opening women's game of these GoalBall Championships.
It's interesting that they moved number 4 to a wing. She does look a little bit more comfortable in center, but I think that she can add value as a wing as well in this game because she has the best offense on the team.
Well, offense is what Italy need at this current stage. It's all well and good trying to concentrate on that defensive game, but when you are 3 goals behind, you need to get those goals trickling in as quickly as possible. That's a nice block there on the far side, though, by Magdalena Hoffer.
I'm wondering if we'll see a substitution from Italy at some point soon to try to spice things up on their side.
It's about fitness as well. With oh, that's an outstanding save by Leona Silva there. That looked like, for all intents and purposes, that was going in, and she just about tipped it around with her left foot. Whether she was aware of that or not, who knows, but very nicely done by her, and she's been mightily impressive in this game.
Maybe we'll see some substitutions soon by Portugal as well. They actually have some players, Marlene, who also was on the sporting team along with Maria and Leonor. Really good pair, really good trio together to play. Leonor could move into center and offer a lot to this Portuguese team there in her defense.
Well, Portugal have certainly got options off the bench, even if they just want to shore things up at the back or try and get a couple more goals in. Well, Leona Silva, who is a major reason why Portugal are leading in this game, shooting that time down her far side. And again, being sent straight back, and Castro coming across from the centre towards that far side to smother it. Some very quick movement there by Svedo. And then shooting and nearly sneaking in, just about held on to by Saika, the number 4. And steps up, goes for that bouncing effort, but not going to be catching off guard Castro anytime soon. Italy now back in possession, and it is that centre who was out on the wing with a trickling effort.
Wow.
And that has gone in. Very sneaky indeed from Camilla Pizzotta. She's played on both wings, now playing in the centre. And out of nothing, Italy clawed themselves back into it with a very nice effort towards goal into the bottom left-hand corner.
That was a great place shot. Sometimes you just need to have the accuracy. And that, out of the whole game, that was one of the best shots so far that's been thrown.
That was a nice shot thrown there by Siala Saika, but just about being blocked by Leona Silva, who has been ever present on that left-hand side. She hasn't really floated inwards at all. And shooting now down towards the centre. Pizzotta blocking that up. Very bright blonde hair, I must say. Now being shot towards goal once more, and Portugal just need to keep level-headed here and keep those concentration levels high.
That's going over. All right, so Portugal has another chance to try to heighten their lead. I'm wondering if they're going to try anything different, try maybe to have Leonor throw from the other side, or to move the center out of the way. There's been a lot of backing up and throwing in this game from their spots, and I think that could add something to their game.
Yeah, they haven't really done that at all. Leona Silva, like I've said, she's been very rigid with her position, and whether it was Brando or replacement who started this game, of course, is Vedo. They've been very rigid with where they've been on the right and left-hand side, whereas this Italian formation's been very fluid, very interchanging, and maybe that's helped Italy stay in this game, especially with potential fitness levels wavering, this being their first game on this tournament and their first game in any tournament whatsoever.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of the time with...
Sneaking in there. Sorry to interrupt you, but Portugal coming in there with a shot from out of nowhere, really. Caught us both off guard and definitely caught Italy off guard to put themselves back into that 3-goal cushion.
Yeah, a lot of the time, as I was saying, you know, when players are changing positions, it changes the weaknesses on the other team. And so if you were a coach and you had a shot in mind, when players switch positions, that shot might be gone. And so that could be the rationale behind them changing.
Well, Italy have only got 4 minutes or so to try and potentially get a draw, maybe a win just out of reach, unless we saw a real late flurry of attacking intent from the Italians. Nice block there from the centre by Pizzota. It's blocked down the centre there again by Castro, playing it out towards the wide, and probably the player of the match at the moment, Silva, with a mother on the bench, not having come on yet. Maybe trying to leave those substitutes as late as possible, just so they've got as much freshness as they can off the bench. And again, we haven't seen any Italian changes. They have got one substitute, Anna Maria Inahofer. And, well, Italy sneaking themselves back into the game there. 10 goals to 8, only 2 behind now. And Italy just keep catching Portugal out. These very odd shots and these very odd moments, just out of nothing, really.
A lot of these shots are very well placed, though. So a lot of the shots that they're not scoring on are because they're throwing too much into the center. And the shots that they are scoring on are really well placed.
Is that a concern for Portugal? They're, not just in this game, but across the tournament, they're struggling to defend those wide flanks.
I would say yes. I would say that, you know, other teams can see this game and try to take advantage of that when they do play them. And they need to either bring the center to cover a little bit more, bring the wings in to try to help the center.
Going out towards that wing in again, nicely blocked by Siala Saika. She goes for a very bouncy effort towards the corner, and Castro just coming across towards the left to get a hand on that. Keep claim onto it. Goes to Osvedo. She goes again down towards the centre. Easy pickings for Pizzota. And goes down towards the centre again. And like you're saying, every time Italy have been accurate down towards those corners, it's gone in. But well, they seemingly hurry the shots. A little bit like that from Portugal. They can catch them unaware. And Portugal once again get that 3-goal advantage to make it 11-8. A nice effort there. To the gap and into the back of the net as a timeout is called with 11-8 the score. 2 minutes and 8 seconds remaining on the clock. Potential now, would you say, for some late substitutions? 3 goals in front, 2 minutes to go.
Knowing Marcia's coaching, she's probably not going to be subbing people in. You know, I played with Sporting last year for the World Cup and also for the SEGL, and she rarely made subs until the very, very end. So I would say the potential for her subbing in maybe when we reach about a minute or so, but she doesn't really like subbing, you know, in and out a lot. It's very, very rare.
Each coach has their different tactics, different approaches. I think she'll be relatively pleased at the moment with her side performance, especially in the second half. Bear in mind they went in the break trailing against Italy. They've turned it around and they've definitely shored up at the back. We were maybe a little bit unsure of the half-time substitution of taking off Brando and then bringing back on Eduardo Osvedo, but it's definitely worked a treat. Like I say, has secured that back line a little bit more. They've only conceded 2 goals in this second half against Italy, whereas offensively they've managed to get 6 goals in and find themselves 3 goals ahead.
Sounds a little bit crazy, but, you know, hitting the center is one of the easiest places to hit on the court. You know, you have the entire court in front of you, and, like, the easiest place to hit is the center. And so a lot of the times when you watch GoalBall and, you know, you have some of these teams who are coming up, you see a lot of balls being kind of thrown there, and that's why, you know, they're not scoring. But when they do score, it's because they throw an accurate shot. And so we're seeing that a lot in this game between Portugal and Italy, that the shots that are scoring are in the gaps or in the corners. But, you know, whenever the ball is thrown into the center, it's a safe block. So, you know, maybe one key to this tournament is having the accuracy to be able to hit the shots you need to be able to win games.
Well, we have 1:20 remaining on the clock. Portugal seemingly doing enough at the moment to take the advantage and win in their opening game, to, albeit being the only two teams to play, but go top of the group. It's always nice to be there on night one. And definitely nice for the host nation, because in the first game with the men's and now the first game with the women's, Portugal will be top of both tables come the end of the evening, which will be very nice for the home crowd to observe that going into tomorrow's fixtures.
We see Portugal getting a little bit louder, a little bit more confident now that the end of the game is nearing.
It's definitely not been easy, and maybe not as easy as some may have been predicting before, with Italy coming in with no tournament experience, no one really knowing what to expect from them. And again, to be fair with Portugal, this is their first tournament in 6 years, and well, that's a brilliant way to nearly cap off this game, making it 12-8. Like I was saying, their first tournament since 2016, and they will be winning their first game back in competitive action. At the moment, leading by 12 goals to 8 against Italy. Nicely saved again there by Silva, with just over 30 seconds to go. Trying to sneak it in towards that far post, and again they've changed positions again, with Ciara Saika now going over towards the right wing, swapping back, going over towards the left, shooting towards the centre, and sneaking in.
That was fantastic. That was a throw right off of a sweep. You don't see that a lot with new coming teams, and that made a big difference. I mean, a lot of the time when you sweep from one side to the other, you confuse the defense.
Definitely happened there. That was a really clever play, albeit maybe a little bit too little too late, but this will give Italy massive confidence going into this tournament. Performing like this against the host nation. Nearly an own goal there from Portugal, which would have made it a very awkward last few seconds of the game. That is it. All tied up. Italy look frustrated with themselves. Portugal look delighted as they come out 12-9 victors in the opening game. Portugal winning in the men's and the women to go top of both tables at the end of night one, before we go into an excellent weekend and week of action. So at full time there, let's ask for your player of the match. I reckon I know who it is. I'd guess. I would be presuming it's Leona Silva.
I would say that she earned the player of the match that game. I mean, she scored the majority of Portugal's goals. She didn't really give up that many either on the defensive side, and I think that she was a good leader on the court as well. So,
well, looking ahead then to tomorrow's action, we've got plenty of different teams in action. Of course, with 4 teams potentially being able to be promoted. We've got the likes of Ukraine and Spain coming into tomorrow, but the favourites coming into this tournament have to be Finland. And, well, do you think they'll be looking at this, going, maybe looking at Portugal with, I don't know, maybe looking over their shoulder a little bit? Or do you think Finland are definitely still the firm favourites for it?
I would say that Finland should be the firm favourites for this. So, you know, you're looking at some of the teams that got relegated from the A's. So Finland, Ukraine, and who was the third team that was relegated?
Relegated from last year's tournament.
Yeah, from last year's tournament.
From last year's tournament, Hungary, Poland and Spain came down.